to this on replay, thank you so much for tuning in to me. So, I have decided to commit to show up every single weekday. Weekends, I'm not committing to, but to show up Monday through Friday, live. Maybe some of these days I'll do it only for 5 seconds. Maybe some of these days I'll do it for an hour and a half. I don't know yet, but I've decided to commit to showing up. Here's the thing. I have a habit of being inconsistent. I am just not a consistent person in my energy. I used to be the kind of person who works in bursts, if you know what I mean. So I would work nonstop 16-hour days, 3 months in a row, and then I would stop working altogether, go out to sea on some kind of ship. I'm a sailor, and I would work with that energy. So I'd be all out into something and then all off something. That actually works really well for me. But I figured something out that's not an easy thing to figure out, and that is that my being inconsistent is actually rooted deeply in trauma. People who know me actually know this, and that is that, well, there's a lot of angles to go about this, but I used to be terrified of people, absolutely terrified. I used to weigh 20 kilograms less than I do today, which is 40 pounds, 40 pounds less than I do today, and I'm not a terribly overweight person. So I used to be really skinny, really tiny girl, and I used to almost float out of thin air. You could hardly see me. I would wear hoodies. I would be completely invisible. I would hide from everything, and I was hiding from life. There was actually a period where I'd rather die than actually live. Death was my best friend in my 20s. And I was absolutely terrified of people because I didn't trust that people would be there for me. Now, that has a lot to do with my background, with the trauma that my parents went through. They're very loving, beautiful people, but they're also very traumatized in their own childhood. So, due to all of these senses, I had a huge lack of trusting that people are there for me when I need them, and that I didn't know whether the reaction would be a hit in my face or a reward and praise. My childhood was a very inconsistent period for me. It was either fights or love, and anger or beauty, and I could never rely on anything. Now, I decided to learn how to rely on myself, and I've been very successful doing that, not attaching myself too much to other people, to what they say, to what they think. But there is a downside to that. And that is that I haven't really allowed myself to connect to the good things people say about me either as well. That's a big struggle for me. I can easily today get positive feedback from somebody or get a love note from a client and read it and get tears in my eyes and feel it. But then I'll and say thank you and really let it in. I can do that. But then I put it aside and a part of my brain starts taking over saying, well, that was a beautiful moment. And I dissociate from that moment and go back into I can do it all myself mode. So then every time I have to show up live or show up in marketing, what happens is that I'm not involved with anybody else while I'm doing that, right? Whether I'm writing an email or whether I'm going live like I'm doing right now, it is really tough to connect with what's going on the other side. So then part of my system isn't aware that we're actually creating a connection now. It's actually telling me, why are you saying this to your dumb computer? And then my brain can't handle that anybody might want to hear this. And then my mind tells me, well, you know what? It's beautiful weather. Let's go outside. Let's do something else. I have a 13-week-old puppy next to me right now. Let's play with him. Let's not do any of this. Life will sort it out itself and it will go all woo-woo on me, thinking, well, you know what is the sense? Here's the thing. Committing to showing up every day is actually a healing thing for me. It's not something I have to push myself. Well, some days I might have to push myself to do it. But it is a push that will actually heal a system inside of me that says, who cares about you? You know what? And I know people care. I know people want to hear what I have to say. And I know people want this transparency from me. But there is this 1% voice of me that says, who really cares? And I know that that is not a healthy voice. So in order to commit to show up, I'm actually telling my healthy part that I'm committing to that. So my commitment is not to pushing myself. My commitment is to showing up from a healthy part in myself that knows that I'm loved, that can allow that love, that feels that love, and that knows that more than anything, we need authentic people showing what's really going on inside of them. And we don't need more pretty pictures of 10K months and 300 million years or whatever, right? We need people talking about what's real, what's going on inside, what their struggle is, and how they're actually overcoming that. I have had a lot of struggles over the past 3 years ever since the lockdown in COVID. Our business was shut down overnight. We had to rebuild it. We built an online academy. We did a lot of things, but that cost us to invest every single profit cent that we had into it. And we've been through scary times. We're rebuilding, we're revamping. But there is one thing going on in the world right now, and that is that every single time we think there is a solution or something has settled down, there's a new chaos, there's a war, there's inflation, there's an energy crisis. Every single time we think we found something out, something else comes. And that means that we cannot settle anywhere. Now, our nervous system will then easily tell us to just wait it out, to just wait for a place where we can breathe. But what we really need to do is we need to learn how to breathe in the chaos. And that is actually something I'm really good at, really skilled at. But that 1% part of me says, why would anybody care about that? Why would you talk about that? Now, if you really want to hear me talk about that, please put it in the comments, because the more you comment, the more I know what you want these lives to be about. This is something I know people need right now, and I will be talking about a lot more about how I do that, about what that could mean for you, about what that can mean for your business if you do that, because we cannot find a place of peace outside of us. We need to find a place of peace inside of us so that we can be an answer instead of try to give a reaction, right? We need to give an answer instead of a reaction. And with every single new type of chaos that comes up, we need to find a place inside ourselves which is healthy, where we can be authentic, where we can just trust ourselves. And that is today more crucial than ever. I know that a lot of you are trying to stop, trying to hit pause because winter is coming. And let's see how winter will evolve. The problem is, if we don't want this winter to be a hell or a nightmare, we need to find that place of peace inside ourselves before winter. We need to find that place of peace inside ourselves before the shit hit the fan, right? Before we need to winter-proof ourselves. We need to life-proof ourselves, which means that we need to find that place where life can't beat us up because we're so aligned with our healthy part that we're okay. We're actually okay, even if the world around us is crumbling apart. The world now more than ever needs people who are aligned with that part to show up through business, to show up for their friends, to show up for their family, to show up so that we can actually rebuild the future of this planet. Why I'm committing to showing up daily is because it's a healthy thing for me to do. I know that there is many of you who want and need to hear me. And I absolutely believe that these transparent, authentic voices are not out there enough. So that's my commitment. I might show up in a different time every day. I might show up in two languages some days, Dutch and English. I'm bilingual. I might show up in Dutch one day and English the next day. I'm not committing to doing it perfectly. I'm not committing to do it in two languages at a specific time every single day. Not committing to saying something interesting every single day. I'm just committing to being there. Committing to being there for people who need me. I'm committing to being there for people who need to see how I am navigating this, to see what I'm going through and how I'm dealing with any of these things. I am showing up because it's the right thing to do at this moment in time. Some days I might just be talking about my puppy. Some days I might be in tears, not knowing what to say. Some days I might not be inspired to say anything at all, and then that is what I will tell you. Some days I will be lost, not having an answer, and not even knowing how to deal with that. Some days I might have really intelligent things and thoughts to talk about. What I will not do is prepare for what I'm going to say. What I'll do is just hit the camera on, put the camera on, and freely talk, because I think that's the important thing. That's what we need right now. If there are things you want me to talk about, by all means, comment, because it can keep a list. I can look at the list. If I don't have anything to talk about, then I might just pull your question from the list. If you have any questions, let me know, because that will really help. I'm committing, now that I'm talking about this, to actually connect with people, to actually connect, to create a connection with the world out there, with you. Because there's way too many coaches who are out there trying to teach you stuff, trying to be interesting. I don't know if I'm interesting. I know that I'm a human being and you're a human being, and if anything, we crave connection right now. In these times, we need to figure it out. We need to navigate these chaos and these chaotic times, and we need to somehow dare to enter the world from that place of, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I don't know what the fuck is going on. That's the place that we're being put in again and again and again and again. That means that we need to learn how to navigate that place inside ourselves, in the world. Things shift, things change. And that is not something that anybody can have the recipe for and teach you and do this and then you'll be fine. And what we need to do is step into a place where we don't know that we'll be fine, where we actually don't have any of the answers, and be okay with that. Because the thing is, tomorrow doesn't exist yet. We're creating it. But we're not creating everything in the world. I hear so many people talk about, well, you just create your own reality. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that anybody listening to this right now has single-handedly created the war or single-handedly created the COVID pandemic, right? You haven't done any of that by yourself. And if you have, I really want to talk to you, by the way. But we are creating a response to that. And we can create that from our traumas in the past, from a reaction of where it's triggering us, or a reaction to what's triggering us on social media, or we can learn how to create that from a place of alignment with the divine. I call it God, you can call it the universe, or love, or whatever. Hey, but I call that God. But we need to figure out how to be divine warriors. That's what I call it. That's my tribe, is the tribe of divine warriors, of people who are in these chaotic times, ready to speak from that divine connection. But that means that we can't sit still and wait for the divine spark to hit us and then start talking. And what we have to do, or what I have to do, minimum, is that I have to connect and then allow that divine spark to enter that connection. I can be really connected to the divine here in my little island of peace. I live 10 minutes walking distance from my next door neighbors. It's not that hard to feel a divine connection here where I live in my house. I have a beautiful family. I have a dog or puppy, cats, sheep. It's not that difficult to feel divine here. But it is difficult to bring that divine spark into the world through what it is that you're doing. That means that we have to connect with people, connect with chaos, connect with the world that we're currently living in. I don't find that easy always. Sometimes I struggle with that. Sometimes I'd rather not go live. Sometimes I'd rather retreat from the world. And when I was in my early 20s, I'd rather actually leave this world. I was suicidal for 2 years. And death, as long as death was an option for me in my life, that was actually my best friend. Because, hey, you know what? I can always go with this friend. I don't have to stay here with all these people that I don't get. There was a way out. Whenever I got my kids, that way out stopped being there. That's actually really terrifying for me. But my way of dealing with that has always been to realign with the healthy part of me. So many people think when we look at trauma that we need to look at the trauma. And what I have learned is that we need to stay far away from the trauma. We need to look at the healthy part. We need to establish a place inside of you where, and inside of me, where connecting with people might trigger us, but it's actually okay to be with that trigger. What the world right now needs is a lot of people who can actually be triggered and be okay with that and not having to shut down the other person, not having to shut down themselves, but who heal through those connections. And business is actually the best way of doing that, specifically now, because the world needs our healthy part. The world needs us to show up. And I don't care what business you're in. I'm not just talking to coaches. I'll give you an example of my bakery here. I have a bakery around the corner, and I can buy even better quality bread in other places, not even that much further. But the presence of the owner of that bakery is so beautiful for me that I don't even like to eat bread that much, but I love to be in his presence. So I even eat bread because of the connection that I feel there. Now, that is what we need right now. Your business is personal. I don't care what you sell, even if you sell pens or this is my dog treat bag, even those things. That's personal. That makes me, I don't even know if this is the right one to show you, but the things we surround us with, life, the connections, the things we do every day, make us feel a certain way. And that feeling is personal. And that feeling of all our stuff, the feeling of everything we do every day, triggers the way we show up. When I drink or eat from a specific plate that my grandmother used to own, and now I eat my dinner from that, that makes me feel a connection with her. And that connection with her gives me hope, because my grandma used to give me hope. So then that plate doesn't just hold my food in one place. It actually feeds me with love and with nourishment. Now, if you run your business from the place of awareness of a connection with other people. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been in business for 22 years. For the first 10 of those, I didn't have a clue about any of this. I was hiding. I was 40 pounds lighter than I am today, and I was desperately not wanting that connection. So I get that. But that is where our goal is. That is, by the way, what financial freedom is. It's not having millions in your bank, because that doesn't necessarily bring peace of mind or freedom. It might bring that your bills are taken care of, but even that, if the financial system collapses, then even that security is gone, right? But what does bring us security on this planet today is that you're here, you're connected with people, with life, and that connection is actually the only hope we have here. Because as long as we're connected to people, there will always be solutions. As long as your presence is a presence that we want, aspire, hope, dream about, that makes us feel great, we'll want to take care of you and you'll want to take care of us. That is something we desperately need. As a business owner, that is where your gold is in your business. That is not something we should just be giving away for free, but it's also not something we should be overcharging for. It's just, as long as we know how to give an answer from that reciprocity loop, then things are easy. It's not easy to get to a place where we can do that. That's a different thing. So I'm committing to actually establishing that connection every single day by going live, by talking to you guys, by showing up, by allowing myself to feel that there's people out there who I know want that connection with me. The 1% damaged part of me doesn't want to know that. It tells me that I shouldn't be making myself too big. Nobody's interested. Nobody wants to hear what I say. I shouldn't overvalue myself and stuff like that. And yeah, people tell you that they love you, but you know what? In reality, something else is going on. That 1% part of me wants me to disconnect. But the 99% health in me doesn't want that. So committing to being consistent is actually allowing myself to connect with that healthy part of me that knows I'm loved, that is ready and willing to allow that love in and to reciprocate on that love and to give people what I know I am able and willing and caring to do. So I'm going to commit to dedicating myself to that connection on social media through daily videos. Sometimes the videos will be interrupted by my puppy or by something else. Sometimes I might not have makeup on or my hair right or in the right clothes, like today. Sometimes I might be outside. Sometimes I might not have a right microphone or whatever. I don't care. Because it's not about that. I will hardly ever prepare to what I'm saying unless you have a really beautiful question. Then I might do a long live stream on it. This is my way of honoring life, of honoring my presence, of honoring the divine. That is not me. That is going through all of us. That divine part of us is what creates our future. That divine part of us is through which we should be creating the next day, the next step. The only way to heal what's going on in the chaos in the planet right now is if we allow ourselves to take the next step from that divine connection. Now, we have a whole training seminar on that. I cannot do that in these Facebook Lives, but I can show you what my process looks like, and I can show up for you from that divine connection. So that's what I'm going to do. Please say hi to me in the comments. I know a lot of you are already doing that. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Nana. Oh, Nana, it's so great to see you here. If you have any questions around this, please, please, please let me know, because then I can answer those, and then this can be even more valuable for you. That was what I wanted to tell you today. In the meantime, I'm just looking at my really cute puppy. He's 13 weeks old now. Jimmy is his name. He is missing one eye. He's had an operation, and he is only now just really starting to recover from that operation. And he's my one-eyed pirate. And I will talk about him a lot. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for commenting. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.